So today we're gonna go back to those word problems, problem solving, an introduction to problem solving. So I don't know, that's how they designed the class. We're going backwards. We did 2.6 last semester. I think they want us to come back to 2.6, the percentage questions. So this is example one, finding an unknown number. So this is a question. Twice the number added is the same as 3 subtracted from the number. Find the number. So the first thing you need to do here is identify the x. So the x would be the number, twice the number, so this is the x. So x we can say is the number. We don't know what number it is. So twice the number, that means twice means 2. So twice the number, so twice the number, that's why I wrote it here. 2 times x. Added 2, so that's plus. So this is plus. Plus is the same as 3. I think I added to 7 here. It says added to 7. Skipped it. To 7. So 7, right? So 2x added to 7, so that's why we have a 7 here. Is the same as 3 subtracted, so is the same as, this would be equals. Would be equals 3 subtracted from a number. So we're taking away 3 from a number. So it's got to be the same number that we set here, x equals a number. And we're taking 3 from this number. So this should be equal to this. So the first 2 questions is just direct translation. So we directly translated from the words, translating them into math. Once you get here, all you have to do is solve. So I'm going to bring the x over to this side. So this becomes an x. 0 minus 3. And I'm going to bring the 7 to that side, minus 7. So this becomes 0, so x equals negative 10. And if you guys want to check, sorry, x equals 10, so I just solved the equation, I got x equals negative 10. If you want to check with this equation, I'm going to check. So 2 times negative 10 plus 7 should equal the same as negative 10. 3, sorry. So this gives me negative 13 on this side. 2 times negative 10 gives me negative 20. This gives me negative 13. So yeah, it checks. It checks. So it does check. So let's go to example 2. So again, this is direct translation again. So finding the unknown number. So we need to identify the unknown first. Twice the sum of a number. So you know the number is going to be the unknown. X is the unknown number. I even wrote it here. X is the unknown number. Twice the sum of a number. So twice means 2. So twice the sum of a number and 4. So 2 times the addition of these 2. So sum means this and 4. The words don't really match directly like 1-to-1 to the mathematical translation. Like twice, you know, twice would be times 2. The sum of a number and 4. So this is all of this together. So this, it's together. So you would have x plus 4. You're This is the sum of a number m4. Is the same as, well, you know, this is equals as 4 times the number, right? 4 times, so 4, and then times multiplication, or let's do it like this, x, so 4x decrease by 7. So decrease means subtraction, decrease by 12, I mean, by 12. So here we solve for x, so this distribute this, so 2x plus 8, 4x minus 12. So let's bring the 2x to this side. So this becomes 2x minus 12. Let's bring the 12 to this side. I'm just bringing stuff so that I keep positives instead of dealing with negatives. That's why I brought this one over here instead of the other way would give me a negative. This is 20, so x equals 10. And if you check, it does check 10 plus 4 would be 14 times 2, 28. 4 times 10 would be 40 minus 2 would be 28. So it checks, the answer checks. Let's do example 3. This is relationships among unknown quantities. So it gets a little bit more complicated now. We're applying it to the length of this piece of wood. So let's read it. So it says balsa wood sticks are commonly used for building models, for example, bridge models. A 48-inch balsa wood, so the whole thing is measured 48 inches, this piece of wood. Stick is to be cut into 2 pieces so that the longer piece is 3 times. So this thing is going to be cut into 2 pieces. We know the longer would be 3 times the shorter one. So these would be 3 times bigger than the shorter one. Find the length. So the first thing is you need to identify the unknown. And I already did it here before. So since this has to be 3 times the shorter one needs to be the x, the unknown. And yeah, I wrote it here. X is the length of the shorter piece. Because if you do it the other way, if you make this the x, let's say this is the x, the longer, but it's telling you it's 3 times the shorter, you can't make the longer just the x, because it's already telling you here that it's 3 times this one. So forcefully you need to make that the x, the shorter piece, and the longer piece would just be 3 times the shorter piece, which is the x. So 3 times the x will give you the length of this, and just the x by itself is the length of that thing. So length of the shorter piece would be x, because we want to find the length. So this is where you have to make the connection. If you add these 2 things, they need to equal that. So whatever we do, these 2 things need to equal the whole measurement of the wood, the piece of wood, which is that. I'm not going to include the units now because I want to deal just with the numbers. So you know these 2 would have to equal that, and how do you make them equal to that? Well, you need to add them. We're not multiplying because that wouldn't make sense. We're adding them. So length of the shorter piece would be x added to, right? Because we're adding it, even though it doesn't really tell us. But you should, in your brain, in your mind, you should know that you need to add in order to equal it to that one. So x plus 3x equals the 48. So these 2 simplify. So it would be 4x, 48 divided by 4. X is equal to 12. So this piece is 12 inches, and this piece is 3 times 12, which gives me 36 inches. If we add these two together, it gives me the 48. So this one checks, right? So it checks. You want me to check here. So 12 plus 3 times 12 should equal 48. So this is 48 equals 48. So it does check. These two pieces equal that one if x equals to 12. Really very easy. So example 4. So this is more of relationships among unknown quantities. Uh, Finding a number of Republican and Democratic representatives. This is the question. The 114th Congress began on January 3rd, 2015, and had a total of 435 Democratic and Republican representatives. So you know we're gonna be adding for sure, and whatever we add, it needs to equal this. That's what happened. That's why you need to make that connection right away. It needs to, whatever we're gonna be adding, it has to equal this number. Because at the total, like the other one, the wood, the total was the total length, which was 48. So whatever you were adding it to equal 48. So there were 59 fewer Democratic representatives than Republican. Find the number of representatives from each party. So this is where you have to assign which one would be the X, just the X by itself. Look, they're saying there's 59 fewer Democratic. So you're taking away 59 from something, and that's going to equal the Democratic. So right away, you should know that the Democratic cannot be the X by itself because we're taking away 59 from it. So that means find the number represented. So that means the Republicans has to be the X. So number of Republicans, you're going to put an X. The number of Democratic, we're taking away 59 from X. Like that. And what are we doing? They need to equal this, so we are adding. Okay. So once you have that, and this goes in parentheses even though nothing happens to it, but just make sure, because if this was subtracted, then this will change. But in this case, it's not going to change. So let's solve for x. So this is 2x minus 59 equals 435. So plus 59 . So this is going to give us 494 divided by 2. It gives me 247. So that means there were how many Republicans? 247. There were 247 Republicans. And if you take away 59, it should give us, let me see, does it tell us here, 188. 188 Democrats. If you add these two, they equal the 435. So this is 300, 380, 420, 427, 435. So they do check, this number checks. And that's how you do these ones. Two more examples. Finding this, this is I think more of the same. So I think I'm gonna skip 5 because it's more of the relationships among unknown quantities. And it's an isosceles, talking about an isosceles triangle. So you know it's gonna have two equal sides or two equal angles. It's talking about the angles. If it's isosceles, it needs to have two angles that are the same. And then So it's pretty much the same as the other ones that I did. It's just gonna have three things instead of two. But you're adding everything and everything is to equal 180. This is different. This is, and we've done this one, consecutive integer problems. We've seen this last semester. So let's read. Some states have a single area code for the entire state. Two such states have area codes that are consecutive odd integers. If the sum of these integers is 1208, find the two area codes. So the sum has to equal this. Is means equal this. So the two area codes, the consecutive odd area codes need to equal this. So again, you need to identify which one would be the x. So imagine consecutive, I have it here, consecutive odd integers. This is just an example with numbers. 57, the consecutive odd integer would be 59. So you're adding 2 to find the next consecutive odd integer. From 59, the next odd integer would be 61. Again, you're adding 2. This is with numbers. In general terms, will look like this. So the first number would be the x. To find the second consecutive odd number, since we added 2, you will need to add 2 to x. Again, this is in general terms. To find the next one, you would add 2 again to this one. You will end up with 4. The same way we added again 2. From 57 to 61, we added 4. From x to this one, we add 4. From 57 to 59, to find the next one, we add only 2. 57 to 59, we add 2. That's a connection. So that means the first odd integer has to be the x. Always the first one would be the x. So this has to be the x. The sum, so we are adding the next odd integer. How do we identify that one? The next odd integer would be x plus 2. Not x anymore because that's the first odd integer. We need to add 2 to this one to find the following. So this is the odd integer, first one. The next one we add 2 like we did here. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we add everything, so x plus 2. So 2x plus 2. So minus 2 minus 2. 2x equals 1206 divided by 2. This is so x equals 603. So we got an odd integer, which is a good thing. So this would equal 603. The next consecutive would be 603 plus the 2 that we said, so it would be 605. So these are the consecutive odd integers that add to that. And let's check. 603 plus 605, so 600 as plus 5 and 3 would be 1208. So they do check. They add to that number. Those two consecutive odd integers. And that would be it, guys. This is just examples of consecutive integers in general. They just gave us this example. 11 would be an integer. The next one would be 12, obviously, and the next one would be 13. You're adding 1. In general terms, you start with x, that being x. To find the next consecutive integer, you would just add 1. So x plus 1. To find the next one, you add another 1. So x plus 2. Consecutive even integers is the same as the odd ones. The only difference is you start with an even integer. To find the next even integer, you add 2 to that one. You cannot add 1 because that would give us an odd one, and we want evens for this example. And you add 2 in the same way we did the odd. The evens look exactly the same. So you start with x, and then to find the next consecutive even integer, you add 2. So x plus 2. To find the next one, you add another 2, so x was 4. And that's how you find this number. That's it. Thank you, guys.